having taken the catch that ended Cricket Australia's 11 innings. A sharp one above his head at short leg. Mark Stoneman turned and sprinted from the field with the purpose of a man who went on to score England's first century of their Ashes tour and his first for the tourists. He fell shortly after tea here in Townsville. That goal achieved, but still furious, he battered a fist against his bat as he walked off, having been caught and bowled by Dan Fallons for 111, while his helmet had stayed firmly on in celebration. The overall impression was that of a man ravenous for runs. Stoneman's lowest score in 4 innings on tour is 51, which is also his highest Test score for now. He has looked quite superb, and this was his best innings yet. The same could be said of Alistair Cook, although from a significantly lower base, who cruised along in his slipstream and made 70 in their opening stand of 172. There were unbeaten half-centuries late in the day for Joe Root and David Malan after tea. Quite possibly the easiest and least rushed of their first-class careers, with form far more important than the result. England looks set to bat long enough for everyone to get a go. Whatever score that takes, the lead is already 87. Stoneman's catch meant CA had made 250. Their innings ending 9 balls into day 2, and the run rate almost 4 and over. Shane Bond tasked with getting England to understand what attacking looks like. Read more. Of England's 11, only Craig Overton, 62, and Mason Crane, 28, have played fewer matches than the 75 combined appearances of the 11 players they are facing. This was the first day that the gulf truly showed. The pink ball in Adelaide proved a bit of a leveler for CA's young attack. Here they had the willing Harry Conway, who has a fast arm, a fine follow-through, and is a touch quicker than the rest. Although never enough to trouble England, CA have pushed the boundaries with the standard of opposition they have provided touring teams to. England seldom face full county sides these, but Australia's opposition in 2015, Kent and Essex, at least were bulging with high-class batting. England have done their most intense work away from the middle, because the nets have more life, too. England and Stoneman have stayed stony-faced on the topic. He fairly described the organizing of tour matches as above my pay grade, but said firmly, "We will be ready for the Gabba." He acknowledged the step-up that awaits. Mind, it's his technique that is going to be tested a hell of a lot more next week. "That's for sure," he said. "There's no doubts about that, and everyone's aware of it." He said of England's modest opposition, "It's going to have to be enough. We can't change it. We've got what we've been given, and that's where self-awareness and working on your own game is key. We've some pretty experienced players with a good idea of where they're at and ideas of how to help other players. We're being tested as much as we can with Ramps, Mark Ramprakash, the batting coach, and his yellow balls, softer, faster balls used to practice short bowling. From the opportunities we've had, we're happy with where we are." The spin of Fallons and Matt Short took the 3 wickets to fall, but was broadly of the standard that would have left short leg feeling unsafe even if he were wearing chain mail. Poor 18-year-old Jason Senga, who was heckled back to the pavilion after his 2-ball duck on day 1, was the unlucky fielder. He was pinged on the lower back by Stoneman, then Root. What a torrid task. Stoneman was dropped once, at gully on 41, cutting. In the process, Nick Larkin picked up a broken finger that will keep him out of the rest of the match. There goes the only CA11 batsman with a first-class century. Aside from that, Stoneman was magnificent. He tucked into Conway with straight drives, aerial and along the floor, pulls and nonchalant flicks, racing to 39 in as many balls. Then he slipped into cruise control as the ball dulled, and it became clear that if he was out, it would be because of a mistake of his own. His century came from 140 balls, with 12 force. Stoneman's form helped Cook, who whose scores are rising and who is looking more comfortable by the ball. The old familiars crept back in the flick off the hip, the cut, and even the occasional clunky cover drive until he was caught behind cutting short. He and Stoneman have gelled fast, and his partner is not worried at all. Once his adrenaline is pumping and he's got Stark and Hazelwood staring down at him, that will get him really up for it, he said. That's when we'll see the best of him on this tour. James Vince will believe he missed out and appeared to think he was not out. 2. He had cruised to 26, with all the time in the world to the seamers, then appeared to be caught at short leg. Deceived by Fallon's length, the umpire was not certain and, with Vince unmoved, conferred with his partner at square leg. The finger went up. The decision appeared correct, and certainly Stoneman seemed to agree. After starting with 82, Vince's last 3 innings have been 33, 29 and 26, which is all fretfully familiar.